welcome back. WeArEuS, and this is the Forgotten City. As you may remember, in our last episode, her body's not there anymore for whatever reason, but we watched Fabia run this way and be crushed by all of this before we got to ask her any questions that we needed answers to. Now, first things first, you may notice it is slightly less stuttery than it was in the previous video, towards its end anyway. That is because if you turn off, and this is very important for anyone who intends to play this themselves, if you turn off or reduce to zero motion blur in the settings, for whatever reason, it turns your game into a slideshow. You can have motion blur set to as low as possible. I think the lowest I went with was 10%, and it'll work fine. I think I have it right now at like 100%, and there's no motion blur to speak of. Weird, I don't really care. But you can have it set low, but it's still going to stutter a little bit. As it is, I'm playing with not just the motion blur probably at max, I have to check, but I'm pretty sure it is, but also with vertical, what the frick is that term? Vertical, what is it? Video settings, vertical sync, that's right. Yeah, because there's screen tearing. It was nothing too obvious, but you could feel it when you turn too quickly. It's difficult to explain, but I've never had to use vertical sync before. I typically turned it off because screw that noise, right? But I guess I'll stop harping on the game's optimization. Now, I did go back after I finished recording and I tried speaking to Fabia again, but as you would have expected, in her panicked state, she was not willing to answer any questions about who might be threatening our good buddy down there. Actually, I'm pretty sure his shop is this one, right? Yeah. Actually, let's see if he has anything to say before we go into the bathhouse.
Oh, that's all right. I'm sure it'll take time. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? Nice to talk to you.
I don't remember if we actually asked him about his past in the previous episode, because I know that I have no recollection about him telling us how he ended up here. I'm curious to see if it involves the River Tiber, as it does with at least 2 other people that we know of. I guess for now, lots of golden statues. I guess for now we'll head into the bathhouse. Or not.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
There's no such person here as far as I'm aware.
I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to explain something to you. I am here with orders from Emperor Nero himself to find and execute the cultist Quinctius, for terrible crimes against the Empire. So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me or otherwise obstruct the Emperor's business in any way, I will put this arrow through your chest. Is that understood?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place?
You know, I'm not sure. Let's go with the first one. He does not seem to be willing to listen to reason, so we'll just give him as much of the truth as we can.
A small community. Ha! I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right to the heart of his mystery cult.
Wait, what's a mystery cult? I think this cult he's talking about might have something to do with what Virgil mentioned in the last episode. So yeah, but we're going to go ahead and Virgil didn't tell us too much about the cult outside of that they might have been responsible for the threats against him. So what's a mystery cult?
Oh, don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are all the same to me. Always sneaking off to your secret sanctuaries, indoctrinating each other with your little mantras. The Emperor may have tolerated your activities up until now, but after what Quinctius did, those days are numbered.
Buddy, you've got the wrong idea. We're not cultists.
You say that, but if you're not a cult, then why go to such great lengths to keep this place a secret?
We're not keeping it a secret. We're trapped in
So
here.
you admit you're not allowed to leave.
It's not that we're not allowed to leave. We physically can't leave. There's no way out.
Threatening me is not going to help you. But in any case, that sounds an awful lot like a cult to me. And I saw the inscription saying, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." I take it this is some kind of mantra you all believe?
So far, the conversation with this man has proven that he is more concerned with his mission than listening to reason. Even though I question how he even ended up here. It's obvious he's a new arrival. Weird. But that aside, if I can see how this might go. If we go with the first option, he'll try and put it to the test by killing. If I go with the second one, he'll assume we're threatening him. If I go with the third one, he'll probably just figure I'm lying because he figures we're all in some sort of a cult here, and well, believing that it's a mantra rather than a warning would be a lot easier for him given his mission. Frankly, we have no good answer here. And it looks like this is framed to go sideways, but the second option, we can't go with that one. As proven with our last choice, he'll most likely assume that we're threatening him. The first one is, from the look of things, despite the fact that I fully expected to not go anywhere positive, it appears to be the best option of the three. If I go with no, he won't believe me either way. But it's definitely between the first and third options, right? There's just... I don't know. I don't see him believing us no matter what we do, or say, more accurately. I don't know. But I suspect no matter what we say, he's just not going to believe us. And now that he's here, he's bound by the same rule as everyone else. Including me, possibly. And there's no way he's going to believe it. I don't know. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean for this choice to be taking as long as it is, but I'm treating this as if it's a matter of life and death, which it very well may be, given that he has arrows to go along with that bow. So in cases like this, you guys can fully expect me to think things out, even if it takes a while. Of course, I will try and explain my reasoning as I go through it myself. It may be a little annoying, but it's for the best. I don't imagine that lying would work out here. But all of the others look bad. This, and that's just, he'll probably take it to mean that everyone in this supposed cult will all kill someone who sins. So that can't be good. The more I think about it, the worse it gets. I can't go with either of the first two options, can I? But the lie doesn't work either. But of the two, it's the one that has the least obvious outcome, but also the riskiest outcome. frankly, I know it's taking a little bit longer, but I do want to put this out there. I'm wondering why it is that they actually believe the inscription of the many shall suffer for the sins of the one. Have they actually seen anyone turn to gold? They can't have, right? Because no one has sinned. So how do they know it's true? I guess it's easier to assume it's true than to take the risk, right? I have to go with this option then.
You've clearly been indoctrinated into this nonsense. Now tell me, where did you lot get enough gold to make all these statues?
Yeah, I don't see this helping. I don't see this response helping at all. Because it's clear he only believes what he wants to believe. They were once people who were turned to gold as punishment.
You lot are practicing human sacrifice too. You people disgust me.
There it is. You know, you're distorting what I said.
Yes, because I'm the real villain here.
You did come
It's
to kill
all clear
someone.
to me now. The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination, the mantra, the human sacrifice. You're cultists. There's no doubt in my mind. What baffles me is how a person can believe in something with such zeal. They just can't see what they've become. However, you still have a chance to redeem yourself by telling me where Quintius is. Do not waste it.
Okay, how about this? What can you tell me about Quintius?
Very well. Here's what I know. He's a 40 to 50-year-old man with distinctive eyes, one green and one blue. He's also known to have delusions of grandeur. The Emperor says he and his cult, your cult, are responsible for starting the fire which burnt half of Rome to the ground and killed thousands in the process.
How do you know he set fire to Rome?
All I know, all I care about, is that the Emperor believes he is guilty and wants him dead. The details are not my concern. This is your last chance. Are you going to tell me where he is or not?
I have no idea who or where he is. I've never seen anyone, I at least haven't yet seen anyone with heterochromia. Not here, anyway.
Then you're of no use to me. Do you have any last words?
Yeah, I might go with this option, actually. Using this one would be an idiot. I mean, it would be a bad idea because, well, you don't threaten the man with a weapon when you don't, well, you don't insult the man with the weapon when you don't have one. This one, there would have to be proof that everyone was going to be in danger if he did that, so this one, this is a passive threat which really isn't going to help the situation. This, what? No. He's made up his mind. I don't imagine that this wouldn't matter. I don't imagine that this would matter. So it would have to be this one. Or it's all pointless. Doesn't really matter in that case. You said you wouldn't kill me if I told you the truth.
And there's a simple explanation for that. I lied. But if you want to know the truth before you die, here it is. Once I'm done with you and Quintius, I intend to kill every last one of you wretched degenerates. And I can think of nothing I'd enjoy more.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Crap. God dang it. It'd be nice if I could run. This is terribly unpleasant.
The statues! They're alive!
Come on. That was genuinely unpleasant. Okay. I have to be honest. My computer is not the best. Not by a long shot. Probably the worst. Probably about as good as a low-end laptop. Probably. Pretty sure it is, in fact. Anyway, that aside, this game's optimization is questionable. It should not have been that bad. The graphical settings I have this game set at are quite literally mostly low settings and medium for 1 or 2 previously. Now it's probably medium for 1. I can't stand trying to play games like this.
Salve, friend. I'm WeArEuS. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
I'm Milas, and we've had this conversation before, pal.
I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life.
Your name is WeArEuS, and you're about to offer to take me to see Cynthia so he can tell me about the Golden Rule.
Oh, I guess how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
No problem. I've got somewhere to be.
Oh, and since you seem to be in a hurry, you should try out this device I made. Worked real hard on it.
The frick? Zipline handlebar. Rudimentary wooden zipline handlebar. Okay.
Just attach the pulley to the rope over the lake and hang on to the handles. If it works, it'll be faster than walking. And if it doesn't work, worst thing that can happen is you'll take a swim in the lake. I haven't quite summoned the courage to test it myself. But don't worry, it's completely safe. Probably.
Alright. I appreciate it.
Alright, see you around.
Great, and I have to hold shift to run. That explains a lot, frankly.
Don't you just love springtime?
There, I was hoping that would work. I at least got the... Yeah, a fat lot of good that did me a moment ago.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
What's your story, by the way?
I'm a legionary of the 1st Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the Magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the Magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughters. Daughter, I should say. And the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals.
How did you end up here?
I'm from Liguria, up north originally. I was doing alright for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl and pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some genetic fugitive tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose.
Sorry to hear it.
Ah, don't be. As Seneca the Younger said, difficulty strengthens the mind, as labour does the body. That said, Centilla's disappearance has been more difficult than I'd care to admit.
Since we're here, we may as well go through all of these that we have. What can you tell me about the Magistrate?
He's one of the better commanders I've ever had, that's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that.
As a matter of fact, maybe if we check the citizen register, we can get information on Quintius that the assassin was after. Hopefully there's information on physical details of each citizen. I have a question. Can I see the register for the citizens?
I don't see why not. Just make sure I get it back by tomorrow.
A register of each person in the city in alphabetical order. Thank you.
Of course.
I'm pretty sure we know what he thinks about the Golden Rule. if you guys watched our previous episode. If not, you really shouldn't be here.
Alright?
So we need to talk to Sentius about the assassin. I don't know how he ends up in the bathhouse, but what the frick? We can't even go in. Oh, yes we can. So we don't know how he ends up there.
Whatever are you wearing?
Just as soon as I can turn around, I'm gonna look at you sternly and keep walking.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your...
I'm Miles, and we've had this conversation before.
We have? Wait, if I understand correctly, someone is about to break the Golden Rule, forcing me to create a portal in time to bring you here? I must have entrusted you with figuring out who the culprit is. Only, I assume we failed, and you had to start over. Is that about right? If so, what happened?
I couldn't stop it from being broken.
I see. Look, it's unfortunate, but all that matters now is that you make use of what you've learned and gathered, and do better next time. Now, I assume you sought me out again for a reason.
You know what, I don't think we got a chance to ask him what his story was, did we? Let's find out.
Sextus Sentius Imperiosus is my name, though magistrate is the proper way to address me. Before I wound up here, I was a decurion in the cavalry of Imperial Rome, helping protect civilization from the barbarians.
How did you end up here? That's what I really want to know.
My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now the port is usually bustling, but just as our guests arrived, waves of people began running toward the river from streets and alleyways in every direction. They were trying to escape a terrible fire. Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and, I remember it, losing its footing by the water's edge. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some stranger. I went looking for my horse and discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest.
So again, that's 4 people now confirmed to have been involved with the River Tiber. Granted, the latest 2, Sentius here and the guard outside, didn't mention the river by name, but I think we can all assume safely that it's the River Tiber.
Very well.
We need to talk about who's going to break the Golden Rule.
Of course. What is it?
I think I know who it is.
Yes?
It's the assassin who arrived in the city this morning.
What? An assassin? What are you talking about?
Apparently he was sent by Nero to assassinate someone in this city named Quintius.
Then what are you doing here talking to me? Why aren't you out there trying to stop him? You'd best go. Quickly.
I don't think I can. That's the problem.
You mean to say you tried every non-lethal measure you can?
Perhaps not everything.
Well then, Perhaps you'd better keep trying.
Better keep that attitude in check. I'll kill us all.
Good, thank you.
Oh, don't mind me. I just live here.
Citizen?
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
You know what? I don't find her to be interesting enough to speak to.
I trust you.
Now, given that I know more about the assassin, I may be able to use what he's told me to convince him not to. The ink appears to be made from soot and water. Reasonable. I may be able to use the information I know about the assassin to get him to, well, not do assassin things.
Harvey.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
That's not the way that works.
Hey WeArEuS, how's it feel knowing your man's doomed to lose the election today?
If you're trying to goad me into an argument, it won't work. I'm a stoic, remember?
If the old man couldn't even keep his own daughter safe, how can anyone trust him to keep us safe, eh?
Why do I get the feeling you lot had something to do with Scintilla's disappearance?
That's it. Blame everyone but yourself.
If I find out you did something to that poor sweet girl, not even the golden rule is gonna protect you. Got it?
Ha! As if I'll be afraid of you, little man.
Scintius and Malleolus. Same excrements, same excrement, different smell. Oh, that's unpleasant. Before long, I'm going to have to start testing whether or not us committing a crime would break the golden rule. But for now, we're going to play it safe. He watches through their eyes. Through whose eyes? Summary. Directions to a secret shrine. Enter the caves behind the theater, then turn right at the first fork and the second. Now to read the note itself. An anonymous friend to Octavia. May the Lord bless and keep you safe. I am sorry I could not risk discussing this with you in person, but if I am right, then you're a believer like me. You may not be able to worship openly here, but know that you're not alone. If you ever feel like you need somewhere to pray, there's a special place waiting for you deep in the caves behind the theater. Turn right at the first fork and again at the second. This may be a way to find the person who's threatening Virgil. Also, Octavia is someone we need to keep an eye on. God. This game's performance is really, really dragging me down. The frick is this? Warning, do not enter the cistern. See Domitius for details. What the frick is Domitius?
Hey! You're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
I wasn't, but now I am.
Contrary little cap at murder, aren't you?
Why shouldn't I go down there?
Nobody's told you about Hannibal? Ugh, why do I have to do everything round here? So, there was this guy called Hannibal, right? Funny accent. Used to go down into the cisterns looking for junk he could clean up and sell. One day, a few weeks back, he comes out and tells me the cisterns are haunted. Said he could hear spirits wailing. Of course nobody believed him, because who trusts a Carthaginian, right? Anyway, a few days later he goes back in. And hours go by, and he hasn't come back out, yeah? So I go down after him, and it's dark. But in the distance I can just make out his body, sprawled out on the ground. And hunched over him was something that made my blood run cold. No word of a lie, I saw a creature. Like the corpse of a man who'd been flayed. And it was eating Hannibal.
I imagine he left rather than actually trying to combat it because no one has weapons, so no need to ask him the first question. I'm much more curious as to why that wouldn't have broken the golden rule.
If it was a man, maybe. But I swear on my life this was no man. More like a Strix, or some Versipellus that feeds on human flesh. I didn't stick around to see which.
Reasonable enough. Sounds a little implausible, buddy.
I know what I saw, alright? But if you reckon you're more fearless than a gladiator, don't let me stop you going down there. Just see what happens.
It's a great story, but I still have to go down there. One way or the other, sooner or later.
Without a weapon? Well, it's your funeral.
Speaking of weapon, we do have that issue to deal with now, don't we? Not quite sure how I'm going to go about...
Fresh meat, huh?
Isn't
Fear
the
is
great
proof
temple
of a
keeping an eye
degenerate
on
mind.
things, Horatius?
And Virgil's trying to scrub the graffiti off. First things first, we have to get the bow from this guy. Which means we have to find a way to talk him down.
Help! You have to do something!
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Don't go in there.
Why?
We really can't have her die. I think the first one would be the better choice. I don't imagine why she would, but it doesn't seem like there's any need for her to go in there. Just trust me.
Alright, fine. Come and find me in my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Okay, so now we know we can at least save her. And she runs a bakery, that's good. And now for Mr. Assassin. We can do this, I believe. Do you believe?
Stop right there. I am looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
As a matter of fact, I do. I saw him worshipping in a small round shrine just inside the city. The second building on your left.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
Oh, don't worry. Our paths will never, ever cross. Ever again. That dripping is a little uncomfortable to hear in my right ear like that.
Filthy, lying degenerate.
Well, just so you know, this is technically murder. I didn't do it by hand, but it is murder. So he listens with their ears and he watches with their eyes, but who is they? And who is he? Emperor Nero has ordered the execution of a cultist named Quinctius with different colored eyes. By order of Emperor Nero, all loyal sons of Rome are ordered to hunt and execute the arsonist and murderer Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, a citizen from the Aventine district of Rome. He is about 40 to 50 years old. He is average height, average build, has dark hair, and one green eye and one blue eye. He is typically clean-shaven. He is a known associate of cultists and suffers from delusions of grandeur. If the assassin ended up here and he was chasing after Quinctius, Quinctius is probably here. Oh.
You there? I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine bow you're carrying. No idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light of our dear old magistrate's ban, but I'm impressed. And before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself. But I would like to propose a joint business venture of sorts.
I am looking to profit off of you and get that... what did she call it? Anyway, it's some sort of healing ointment or something. Something to cure poisoning especially. So I am looking to get that from him, without stealing it, of course. Because I am really itching to. But about this joint business, venture. Go on.
Tell me, do you have any idea how people here end up as golden statues?
The statues come to life and fire golden bows. The statues come to life and fire golden arrows at them.
And here I was thinking I was the only one to figure it out. In any case, supposedly one or two of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life which has to be stopped. And yet, on the other hand, I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination, golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested?
You know, the golden goose is meant to be a cautionary tale, right?
Look, I might have skimmed over that one, but don't be so pedantic. Are you interested or not?
At the very least, I am curious.
Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan, but first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
No.
No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who you ask. The one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows. And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand?
Not really.
Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you-know-what.
But you want me to steal it. Is that right?
Oh, gods no. If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly, it's more of a trade. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
First of all, and most importantly, why can't you do it yourself?
I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more resourceful and heroic type. I have complete confidence in you.
Your confidence isn't worth anything to me. I don't imagine going in under cover of darkness solves anything. But just to be as cautious as possible, we're going to ask, isn't that extremely dangerous, though?
When Prometheus stole fire from the gods and became a hero to all mankind, do you think he was worried about the danger?
Okay.
Don't you just love springtime?
Oh, you just love talking to someone who's already in a conversation with someone else? And we already know why I can't just take it. I don't see how it would actually work. I just don't see it working. There's no way it doesn't still count as stealing. That's all for my questions, though.
So, are you in, partner?
You know what? Okay.
Wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, I can get started applying a layer of gold leaf. This is a quality weapon. Now, Bear with me for a moment. And here we are, a gold leaf bow.
Fake golden bow. A golden bow covered in gold leaf. Sure, why not?
Now I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
So the whispers say that he watches with their eyes and listens with their ears. Would I then have to quite literally sneak through? I don't know if I can actually do this given the game's performance issues. Or the performance issues that I'm having. But the clipping audio is really annoying. But while I'm thinking about it, there is an issue I want to deal with. We need to find Fabia. That's that. For now, we'll hold off on the gilding quest and go talk to Fabia. Wait. Our bakery's here.
You took care of it.
Yeah, he had a tragic accident in the shrine.
An accident? So, it's over? Oh God, it's such a relief. I really thought we were all going to die.
Oh, you all definitely
I do have a
were.
question, though. That shrine, the one I was going to hide in, did you know it was going to collapse?
If I said, I, did I quick save recently? I think after I dealt with him, maybe. Anyway, it auto saves. So, wait, so, hold on. Given that we convinced him to go into the shrine, which we knew would kill him because it was going to collapse. Couldn't someone have used that same sort of tactic to poison the woman that Lucretia was unable to save? I mean, that doesn't get us any closer to figuring out who poisoned her, if in fact someone did. No.
Really? Then how? Oh, I see. I should probably keep my big mouth shut then. Sorry.
I appreciate your understanding.
Nobody else will ever know what you did, but I know. That was really clever. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Oh, speaking of which, welcome. I'm Fabia. Sorry I was a bit frantic before. Need anything?
Well, most importantly, we want to ask her about who's threatening Virgil, but first, what's your story?
Oh, there's not much to tell. I mostly just bake bread and try to help out where I can.
But how did you end up here?
I suppose it all started about 8 months ago. I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick. Terrible timing. My pa had just arranged a husband for me, a fisherman's son. was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked. In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am.
That's odd. Most of the others were in Rome before they woke up in the forest, but you say you were a day's ride away?
Oh yeah, I suppose you're right. Hadn't really thought about it. But the gods are mysterious and powerful. Who knows what their plans are for us?
But there's more than that. Not only was she not actually in Rome, she was nowhere near the river Tiber. She was on the road when she fell asleep. There's no telling what happened to her between her waking up in the forest and closing her eyes while in the carriage, but there's almost certainly no way she could have ended up in the river Tiber or anywhere near it. Granted, of course I don't know what road she was on and where the river Tiber may have been along that road, or relative to it, but from her recollection, she has nothing to do with the river Tiber, and she wasn't even in Rome at the time when she ended up here. Interesting. I can't make heads or tails of that information right now, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. So what do you think about the Golden Rule?
Oh, I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we?
Yeah, well, tell that to the next assassin that falls into this place. Either way, I appreciate your optimism.
Thanks. And I like your teeth. They're so white. And your clothes. Oh, I bet my friend Georgius would like to get a look at you. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the Golden Rule with you too. He'll be just across the forum in his shop.
Alright, now the main reason we came here to speak with you. Do you have any idea who's threatening Virgil?
Terrible shame, that is. Maybe this'll help. Late last night, I was cleaning my oven when I heard some noises outside. The forum's usually dead quiet at that hour, so I came out to see what was going on. To be honest, I thought maybe poor old Dooley had got out of his cell and was snooping around again. So I popped my head out and saw someone in front of Virgil's shop. I couldn't tell who, it was too dark. I called out to them, but they just turned and ran off without a word. All I remember is they ran past a lit torch and the light glinted off something metallic. Armour, I think. So I suppose it could only be one of three people. Horatius, Domitius or Rufius. I hope that helps.
You know what? It does. I've got to go see a man about his armor. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks again for taking care of our problem. I won't forget it.
I'd rather that you did. Right. Secundus and Cythera were together until the end. After I'm done recording this, I'm going to have to mess around with the graphics settings again because this is not acceptable. So, first off, we have certified that lying in itself is not enough to kill everyone here. That's good. We now have another weapon in our arsenal, aside from this gold-leafed bow. And before we go doing the before we go and try and fulfill this little business venture, I really need to figure out the issue with the graphics, because with this kind of performance, there's no way I'm going to be able to get through an action/horror segment without extreme frustration. So you'll forgive me if I put that off for now, just until I figure out how to increase the game's performance.
Fresh meat, huh?
No, get up.
WeArEuS isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day.
I don't know who that is, nor... Oh, that, right. Okay, I don't care about that. You know what? We do need to find out how he got here. What's your story?
The name's Domitius. You want to get to WeArEuS, you go through me.
Why are you dressed like a gladiator?
Why? Because I am a gladiator. That's why.
Okay, but you're nowhere near an arena.
You want to see me fight? Keep running your mouth, fatuous cunners.
Okay, so we're not going to find out how he got here. Let's try again.
What?
Nope. So we have no idea how he ended up here. Okay, what do you think of the Golden Rule?
I think it's gone on long enough, and WeArEuS is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
You quite literally can't. At the very least, it's a curse. At most, it's just the will of a god. How's he going to do that?
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Sounds great. Can I help in some way?
We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
This man cannot be allowed to become the magistrate. He cannot. There is no way. There is no way any of these people survive if he does. I don't need to ask that. And I don't imagine that this guy is the one threatening Virgil. But, as a matter of fact, the reason I didn't think he could be is because he doesn't actually have that much armor. But it's still fully possible that it's him, especially given his connection with WeArEuS. He could be supporting WeArEuS so he could go ahead and do whatever it is he wants to do to Virgil. Of course, he'll kill them all. He'll kill everyone else once he's done, but it's not like that really matters. So it's fully possible that it is him.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
For now, I'm not going to ask that question of him. He's a suspect. How the frick do I get up there? I'm assuming this is where WeArEuS is. Is there another way up there? Okay, so I guess the Whisperer was referring to over the course of this episode is the individuals themselves, the statues. So he sees with their eyes and hears with their ears. So he sees with their eyes and hears with their ears, but the Whisperer speaks with their tongues. The frick? You okay, buddy?
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
So, what's your story, Rufius?
Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but... family's from Seleucia and Tigris. Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads.
How did you end up here?
Same way as everyone else.
That's not an answer. So you're suspicious. Not much of a talker, huh?
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
And what exactly are you dealing with?
None of your business. Introjte it some convenchula.
Okay.
If we have to.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people.
What do you mean?
I mean, all these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. While we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. Whatever that is. And when it hits, it's everyone for themselves. You've been warned.
What exactly do you think is coming?
I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us when we're not looking? Like they're waiting for something. I don't like it.
I think you're right.
Of course I am.
Oh, right. Who are you going to vote for, buddy?
WeArEuS. Not sure I trust Sentius. Couldn't even protect his daughter in a city without sin. How's he going to protect us?
Anything I can do to... Well, I imagine the most helpful thing would be to find his freaking daughter, but frankly, I've got no information on or any clues about that right now. But really, where could these people have gone? Because remember, we were told when we first got here in the last episode that 3 people had disappeared. The guy had mentioned it offhandedly as we were walking. So 3 people have disappeared, but no one knows anything. And apparently one of those people was Sentius's daughter. So that's the one thing we need to change here. We need to find Sentius's daughter. That'll change everyone's minds about Malleolus. So there's no need for me to talk about. Although I wonder if selecting this option would give me information about his daughter's disappearance and put me on that quest. Sure, let's find out. I hardly imagine it'll amount to anything negative, so is there anything I can do to change your mind about who you're going to vote for?
No.
I don't imagine that to be true at all. Oh, right. You know, I don't think it's him that's threatening Virgil. It doesn't really fit, you know? This guy's more concerned about himself and what he's going to do once things go sideways, but it's possible. I'd say he's suspect number 2.
Whatever.
We'll come back and talk to him later. But as it stands, I'm pretty sure it's Domenitus? I wasn't really listening when the guy said his own name. I frankly was just staring at his helmet. Domitius. What about her? Also, where did she go? Okay, we'll go deal with that later, but now the priestess is on my radar for whatever reason that the Whisperer decided to mention her. Got a question for you, buddy.
Now,
Are you the one threatening Virgil? Just straight up asking him. Are you the one?
what? Absolutely not. I know someone's been threatening him, and I'm not happy about it. But I can assure you, it isn't me.
Fair enough. I don't think it was him.
All right?
No real need to ask him who he's going to vote for. I don't really care. I can help Sentius maintain his position by finding his daughter. I don't imagine I'll be able to do that unless I get put on the path to do it, though. So I need to talk to someone who's concerned about it. Now, to talk to this guy. He's my number 1 suspect. So let's go ahead and knock this one out.
What now?
You're threatening Virgil, aren't you?
Do I seem like anonymous threats are my style?
You know, it's a single sentence, but I don't imagine that he's wrong. He seems way too full of himself to go sneaking around threatening someone. Let's go talk to suspect number 2.
Whatever.
And then we need to find the priestess before we end the video. Hopefully I can actually find her. No idea where she could be. But the Whisperer wants me to talk to her, or at least wants me to be aware of her, so we may as well. Huh. I need to try and figure out how to use the zip lines too. The frick is going on here? Note from Navia. I'm locking myself in. Don't try to follow me. Nothing good will come of it. These are not stealing. Nice. So now we have 20 arrows and a gold leaf bow. I don't know what's going on behind that door, but I don't like the sound of it. Hey there, buddy. You just chill, Bill.
Ah, you again.
Yep, it's me again. Are you threatening Virgil?
No idea what you're talking about?
Now, let's review what he told us before. He's more concerned about what's going to happen when someone breaks the golden rule. Now, granted, he may be looking at Virgil thinking Virgil being gay and acting on it could be breaking the golden rule, but I don't see how that would be. But it doesn't really matter whether I think it's possible. It only matters whether Rufius thinks it's possible. However, something about his response just... it doesn't sit right with me. It was you, wasn't it? It really was.
Yeah? Prove it.
Don't worry. I will be.
Whatever.
Could that zip line be a way in, or is that just a convenient way out? Seems like the latter. Pretty sure I can't interact with that in any capacity. Yeah, I can't even get past these bushes. So we've questioned these three guys, but isn't it interesting that they're all right next to one another? Find me. Interesting. Wait, what is this pointing us to? And have a look through their homes. Ah. Yeah, that would certainly do it, wouldn't it? What is this? Don't steal anything, don't hurt anyone. Don't... Whoever wrote this didn't get a chance to finish, evidently. Rufius. Garum, a fermented fish sauce used as a condiment. Gives off a faint, salty aroma. An ancient Roman cavalry helmet with an enclosed face mask and plume made of dyed horsehair. Oh.
Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you?
No, I think she's quite a bit more sane than you give her credit for. This is Virgil's chest. I don't care about Virgil. The other one we're looking for is up here. Kind of an awkward deal to be living in a room where there are two freaking statues. I thought that was the statue stepping down off the wooden crate. Well. And this is Rufius's. And so that is probably key to why Rufius is voting for Malleolus. Now, we have Galerius for Magistrate countered by I would rather drink Aurelia's special brew. Okay. Oh, this is probably the room of the guy. Yeah. Ah, Galerius. Him. Okay. There's no real need for me. Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk to this guy.
Vote for Malleolus for a free drink at my tavern.
Must be nice to be stupid.
You again.
Yep, it's me again. You're the one threatening Virgil.
What you're talking.
I know it was you. I found an incomplete letter to him in your quarters.
Yes, so what? What are you going to do about it?
I'm just going to ask you to stop threatening him.
And why should I? The one true God says that for man to lie with another man is an abomination. His presence here is a threat to us all.
If that's true, why hasn't the golden rule been broken already?
Well, I don't know. Maybe God hasn't noticed yet. But when he does, we're going to have a problem.
You know, it seems to me your agitation is a bigger threat than Virgil's personal affairs.
Well, I wouldn't get so angry if he wasn't so... you know.
Are you uncomfortable with your feelings toward him?
I don't like where you're going with this. You'd better take that back before I make you.
Now, I need to think here. The assassin, the statues came to life before he could actually kill me. He fired the arrow, but I don't think he actually killed me. So it was just his intent, effectively, or attempt at the very least, to kill me that set them off. That said, this guy doesn't have a weapon, so the worst he could do is beat me up a little. But if I let him sit here and stew in his torn feelings, then he may end up doing something rash. I frankly don't care how he feels one way or the other, but I don't want him to go and get everyone killed. I don't want to have to start all over again. What's the worst that could happen? He kills them all? You know, it must be difficult to be torn between your faith and your desire.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And unless you want your jaw broken, I think it's best if you don't ever talk to me again.
Hopefully that puts him in line now. The frick?
Whatever's in that great temple up there on the bluff, I bet it's worth a fortune.
The only way out is, and whoever wrote it was interrupted. Perhaps tragically. Valerium. A small household shrine where ancient Romans offer daily prayers for protection. Who put these people on pedestals after they were turned to gold? Theophilus had an orgy with 4 girls here and disappointed all of them equally.
Rufius.
You,
Looking a bit troubled
Tantalus, cannot catch the drops of water, and the tree you grasp at.
Don't be too hard on yourself. From what I hear, nobody saw it coming. Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out there somewhere suffering, waiting to be found?
Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods. Try to relax, get some rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right.
Before you go,
Ah, it's you again. Hope you're settling in, friend. Now, what's on your mind?
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
what do you think about the election?
I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. I don't like Sentius much, but Malleolus is almost as bad. Even I could do a better job. Me, a farmer. And I've never given a speech or put on a toga in my life.
Probably. Oh yeah, let's find out his story before we go. So, what's your story, Galerius?
Well, it's a long one and kind of sad, but I don't mind telling it.
I've got time.
I'm a farmer. Always have been. I grew up in a small village in Britannia, Camulodunum, with my parents and 2 little sisters. Lovely part of the world. One day, when I was about 20, my father and I were in the top paddock, loading our cart, when some Roman legionaries came along, demanding produce for their men. My father told me to run into the house for his axe, and so I did. He sprinted so fast I almost threw up. But by the time I got back, he was bleeding out on the ground, and our cart was empty. That was my first encounter with the legions. My mother died of a broken heart soon after, and things went downhill from there. I took over the farmstead, but I was young, and it was a struggle. More raiding started before too long. We'd come outside in the morning to find animals missing, our stores pillaged. These legion thugs just took whatever they wanted. One night, when my sisters and I had nothing left to steal, there was a knock at the door. I knew who they were, and what they wanted. I got my father's old axe, pulled the door open real quick, and before that soldier knew it, split his face right down the middle. But there were more of them. I never saw how many, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a mouth full of dirt and lungs full of smoke. My home was reduced to ash. My sisters, dead. And they left me alive to see what they'd done. Still burns whenever I think about it.
No, I am truly sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't the only one this happened to. It wasn't long before Boudica led thousands of Britons in a rebellion against the Romans. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them. And those of us who survived, they enslaved. So, then I found myself being transported all the way to Rome to be sold to the highest bidder. I spent a few years working for my new master, learning the Romans' ways, Romanized my name and everything. Tried to escape a couple of times, but they always found me, and I'd just end up right back where I was. I'd probably still be there too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. You see, about 7 months ago, an enormous fire broke out in Rome. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. I'd never seen anything like it. Human beings acting like cattle. I got swept up with them somehow, and the rest is a blur. The next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. Stumbled across this place, and I started my life over again.
Well, things worked out. Sort of.
That's what I thought too, for a while. But it seems the gods aren't done tormenting me yet. See, I finally had my own farm again, safe from the grasping hands of the Romans. Or so I thought. Until Sentius the Decurion demanded I hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. Only he takes the best bits for himself, of course.
Naturally.
He even told me if I refuse his demands, I'll break the golden rule.
No, that's not the way that works.
But then, what if he's right? So, it turns out our dear old magistrate is no better than the Legion thugs who took everything from me. I'm right back where I began. But don't you worry, Nemesis is waiting. And he'll get his, one day. He'll get his. Forget I said that last part, will you? I get carried away sometimes.
Sure. I can understand his anger given everything that's happened to him. Of course, his anger could end up being an issue, but I don't imagine so. He's actually concerned about the golden rule. He wants to live, so he's not going to put himself in jeopardy by potentially breaking the rule. So yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Thanks, friend. I knew I liked you. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Was there something else you wanted to talk about?
Have we asked him about what he thought about the golden rule yet? I don't think so, because what do you think about the golden rule?
Oh, I don't give it much thought these days. I mean, everybody here's got their own view about what we need to do to survive. But I say, let's spend less time arguing about what it means to be good and just get on with it, you know?
Alright. I'll be going now.
Alright. See you around.
Stay shiny. And so this is where we're going to call the episode done. We were able to, frankly, easily do away with the assassin. The guy was not going to listen to reason, and I was not going to risk having to loop a second time. I'd like to limit my number of loops, you know? So, that's one assassin down. We have his bow and his arrows. We have 20 arrows now. And the one denarius he had on him. Because, you know, he was broke. So, we've got all of that. Now, we also solved who was threatening Virgil. Let's see if we actually... Yeah, so that's not quite done yet. So he's still basically a threat to not only Virgil, but everyone else. So I need to keep that in mind. We also know that there's a monster in the cistern. We have a bow and an arrow, and we could try to take that on, but I don't imagine I'd be able to do very well against it, given the performance issues I'm having with this game. As I said earlier, I'm going to try and figure something out to improve the performance once I get the opportunity after the video's done, but I'm not going to spend all day on that because I have other things I want to do. So, hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves and everything you've seen here. We will be back with another episode of The Forgotten City on Sunday, but remember, we will very likely, starting Tuesday, be alternating between The Forgotten City and Skyrim featuring the Vigilant mod. Because too many games came out yesterday. I'm recording this Thursday. So I'm talking about Wednesday. Too many games came out yesterday. Frick, there was the Forgotten City, there was Fuga, there was what was the name of the other one? Animus Revenant. Hopefully you guys watched that episode yesterday. That game is actually pretty nice, and it's frankly closer to being Souls-like than any other game I've recently seen that considered itself Souls-like. So if you like Dark Souls, consider checking that out. Also, there's one other one. Right, Chernobylite, a first-person shooter based in Chernobyl, and I really wanted that game, but I'm like, nobody's going to watch it because, I mean, why would they? Still, regardless, the game's been out in early access for about a year now, and it's just released and in full, effectively. And I wanted to get it, but I have to limit myself. Well, I have to restrict myself because otherwise I'd end up getting all of these games and then nobody's watching them, so it's just wasted money. Granted, I would enjoy the games on my own, but I just don't have the time to do that. Or the hard drive space. I'm using 2 separate hard drives already for games, and one of them is almost full, the other is close enough. So, I mean, what can I do? Now, with all that said, we will see you next time.